So having a professional support where I can understand how the job market work, that was the initial idea. And that is when I signed up and enrolled with Find a Job in Germany. Once I did that, initially, I started applying and there was a lot of support. And I think that helped me a lot in finding the right clients and finding the right company.
Welcome back, everybody, to a new interview today on our YouTube channel with one of our former coaches, Anjali from India, who got a job in Munich. My name is Tamo. We help software tech and IT professionals from India, from Pakistan, from all over the world to find jobs in Germany. And welcome, Anjali. How is it going today?
Yes, it's a nice day. It's quite sunny outside, and it's a good day in Munich. And thank you, Tomo. Thank you for the introduction. And yeah.
Anjali, before we start, our viewers are always keen, maybe you shortly introduce yourself. What tech stack are you working in? Where are you from? Give us a little bit of background.
Yes, so I basically have almost 4.5, 5 years experience in Angular JavaScript framework. So I started initially as a .NET developer. Uh, I have a little bit of exposure in web API, but that's very limited. So I was searching for jobs mainly in Angular profile. And I was having a senior Angular developer role back in India. And I started applying, and that is exactly where I am right now. I'm part of Angular development in my new company, and my company is in Munich. And it's been just a month. Initially, I started as a freelancer back in August last year, 2022. And after I reached here, just in January. I started as a employee here in Munich, and I am part of a team where Angular development and JavaScript development front-end team. So it's going well. So this is my overall tech stack.
Awesome. Where about in India are you from? Where did you live before? In which city?
Yes, in India, I am from Bangalore. So I have studied, I completed my engineering in computer science. And yes, I had worked in Bangalore. I have worked in 2 firms, and this is my 3rd company in Munich.
Awesome. Perfect. And tell us about your journey a little bit. We met last year in August, and then you got a job quite fast. I think in October you got a job, and then you started as a freelancer. What was it? November straight ahead. You worked a little bit. You came to Munich in January, and now you're working in Munich. So tell us, first of all, when did you start having the idea of moving to Germany? When did this arise?
Yes, it's basically my husband came here before, and he has joined as a student here. And so I always had this a lot of friends, and we have common people here who are part of Germany. And so we were trying here, and that is when I started trying. And I initially started applying by my own, and that was not that fruitful. So that is when I came across, I think Raul had sent me in LinkedIn a link. And that is when I came across Find a Job in Germany. And I went through the video which was sent, and that is when I enrolled, and I had an interview with Temo yourself, and we had a discussion. And that is when I decided that, okay, I need a support because I'm new to the market and I don't know how the job market work here. So having a professional support where I can understand how the job market work, that was the initial idea. And that is when I signed up and enrolled with Find a Job in Germany. Once I did that, initially, I started applying and there was a lot of support. And I think that helped me a lot in finding the right clients and finding the right company. And it was a good support. And I think I started in August. And so it took me 3 months. By the end of October, maybe I would have provided interviews to 7 to 8 roughly companies. And initially it was just the 2 rounds or 3 rounds, and then gradually I started getting into more um, clearing more rounds. And then, yeah, by end of October, I got this current company, which I am working. And by November, I started as a freelancer. Not all the companies would provide that, but my company was ready to provide and start as a freelancer. So in November and December, half of December, I continued as a freelancer. And by the end of the year, I traveled, 2022 end of year. And I reached in January here in Germany, and I joined as their employee, directly German, as part of their company. And yeah, this is how my past last year, I mean, until now, this is the overall journey.
Okay, awesome. Tell us, how long did you try to apply before you met us? How many like months or years did you try?
Yeah, roughly maybe 3, 4 months. I would have tried at least for 3 months. I would have tried individually through LinkedIn or Stepstone and Indeed directly. So yeah, roughly 3 months.
And could you get interviews before as well? Could you manage to get some calls?
No, I don't remember getting even one response. There was response, but they were delaying it, and there was no proper interview scheduled.
And why do you think you didn't get calls before? What do you think was the main reason?
I think it had to do a lot with my resume structure. So my resume structure was a bit outdated, and I think that was sufficient for me back in India, because since I know the market there, and there were people to refer, or I don't know, it was fine there, but here I think there is a structure which I need to follow, and I had to be put out as someone who is trustable and who is having a good experience. So that needed a little bit of a support, and I think my resume was a very important part of my profile, which needed a little bit of improvement. And I think that one thing was a pivotal part.
Okay, awesome. And do you remember how many applications did you do roughly before we get in touch? Was it more than 10? More than 20?
Yes, around, I think I can be sure, roughly around 30 to 35 companies I would have randomly just applied.
Awesome. And then we met. The very first thing we always do is we work on your profile, right? You get your clear position CV, which is targeted towards the German job market. And then we applied, and you got, like you said, in the end, 8 or 9 calls altogether.
Yeah.
And then you got an offer as well, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the interview process. What did you find? You said in the beginning you were able to make it to round 2 or 3, and then gradually you understood how it worked. So what was different for you in the interview process?
Interview process, it was usually, on an average, all the companies were having 4 rounds. And initial round is always the first call, which is the HR call, to understand how it is. So they basically want to understand if you would be part of Germany, and they want to understand why you're migrating. I think that is very important for them. And after that, they were more keen on my experience. So they really appreciate people who have experience over people who doesn't have experience. I think that is one thing which is very important, having a good core experience, because they are going to ask you questions only based on your resume. They are not going to ask anything extra. But you should be strong in whatever you have written as part of your resume, and they expect you to know and have some sort of experience and exposure. And whatever you've written in your resume is all they ask, but they want you to know exactly how it is. And they want you to know that you should be ready to migrate, or some companies didn't want it. They are fine with, continuing as a freelancer, but I think they wanted that trust, and they wanted you to have that exact tech stack what you are projecting in your resume. And based on that, I think there will be rounds. It depends on every company. So some companies, they ask me to submit few projects, a short, a mini project type, and they would provide their GitHub link, and I had to submit it within 3 days, maybe. That's quite a tedious process because that is quite time consuming. But few of the other interviews were quick, so they just have technical rounds online, and they would just ask you to code right in front of them. They just ask you to share the screen, and you share the screen and you would code according to whatever the problem statement they provide. So the first round is always the get to know call, and the second round is usually with a technical round. So usually there would be a coding round, and then another technical round where they talk about the concepts and about my experience and what I have done. And then the final round is usually the managerial round. So in the managerial round, what I came across is they want employees to, come here not as part of just to get visa, but just they want a trusted, loyal employee, and so they don't want someone to just come, apply for jobs just to get a visa, and they don't want you to just leave halfway. So that is one thing which is very important here. You have to make them sure that you're coming here and you would be part of their company for a long time, and you are loyal enough to, to be trusted. I think that trust is something they're looking for, and everything else is you have a good experience, then I don't think so. That would be hard to clear the interview.
What do you think? Tell us one thing. What is special about the coding rounds? What is one thing, if you had to share one advice, what would it be?
Yes, be strong with your basics, because they are not going to ask you any complicated questions. So it is about, practice. I think coding round is quite similar. Um, Everywhere it's just the concepts they are asking you, the basic concepts. So you just have to be strong with the basics, and I think you don't have to show them that you can get the output as quickly as possible, because they are not asking you for a quick solution. They are asking you for a right solution. So you have to provide them a solution with experience. So you have to show them that you know the right solution, and you know it because you are experienced. So those concepts, if you could, elaborate on that and get a right solution instead of a quick solution, they would appreciate that. And that is quality over, they look for that quality.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And then you got an offer, you started working remotely. How was that like? You mentioned that it doesn't happen too often, but you had a possibility to work, I think the first 2 months you worked remotely from India, and then you joined while you were processing the visa. How was that, and how was the visa process going?
Yes, I started working remotely. So I think nowadays it is common for everyone, especially in IT department, to work remotely. So that was not an issue, because it depends on the company. If they don't have issues with security and they have a good structure, I don't think so there would be any sort of issues with the working online, because it is common nowadays to work from home, and it is the same field to work from India. It's just about the timing. So it is you should be available when there is meetings, and that's all that matters. Everything else, at least in my department, being in a development team, it's not that important to be on the same level of them during time wise. It's just about meetings. You just have to attend the meetings, and that's it. Everything else is manageable, working from home or working from India. Apart from that, the visa process was quite easy, maybe because I'm from Bangalore. It didn't take much of time. I just got it within 10 days. And in fact, even my appointment, I had to reschedule it twice. I took a date which is quite far. I took it by the end of November. But then I realized you don't need that much of time. And I rescheduled it, to prior time. And I just got an appointment within maybe 7 or 8 days apart. I got an appointment, sorry. And it was not difficult to get an appointment. And after my appointment, after I submitted my documents, it hardly took like 10 to 15 days to
Mm.
get my visa, and I got my visa. And it depends on the date of arrival you would prefer. So I had given the end of December as the date of travel. So my visa was enabled from that date till, the initial 6 months they provide. And after that, yes, the process is you have to come here and then apply for blue card, and that's when you get a long-term visa.
Mm.
So, and the visa experience was also quite comfortable for me, because I had also, applied it through an agency, and sometimes your company supports, not all companies support. So some companies support, visa support is provided, but my company did not provide visa support, so I had to do it individually. But it was not difficult. You would get it within 10 days.
Awesome. That's very good to hear. From Bangalore, it's very fast. That's
Yeah.
actually good. Okay. Thank you, Anjali. I think there were some great insights. I mean, maybe the biggest takeaway, if you are applying or if you're planning to apply for Germany, um, yeah, if you don't get calls after maybe 10 applications, yeah, get professional help, revamp your CV. That will speed up the whole process. Don't waste too much time. I sometimes speak to people that are trying for years and they didn't get calls, and then we work with them to accelerate the process. And usually it takes 2 to 3 months to get an offer. Then many thanks again. It was really a pleasure meeting you today and getting that insights. I'm wishing you all the best for Munich, and yeah, see you soon, May, and all the best.
Thank you, Tim. It was great talking to you too.
Perfect.
Thank you.
If you are also a software developer, data scientist, if you're working in tech and IT and you want to move to Germany, watch the 30-minute training video, which you find below this video. Yeah, it explains how we work, how the process is. And if you find that interesting, you book a get-to-know call with us. It's a WhatsApp call, 10 minutes. We check if we can help you. And if we can, we move on to a second call, a 45-minute video call, where we discuss things in detail. And if it's a match, we start working together, and soon you'll also be working in Germany. Have a good day. See you soon. Bye-bye.